So we just rounded up the first topic, which is diode circuit. Now we are moving on to the next step, which is amplifier models, as you can see from the syllabus. So let us get into amplifier models. Amplifier models. What does it take to amplify a signal? Okay, so that's our consideration, and we are going to kind of postulate certain models. We will present certain models, and we would say that if we can have something like this, then we can make use of it as an amplifier. And there are several models, and the first one is voltage amplifier. Now, how does a voltage amplifier look like, or what model we can assign to it? So it is something like this. So you have a resistance across which you apply some input, and then you have what is called as a sorry, let me correct this. You have what is called as a dependent voltage source with a series resistance. Okay, so I will explain all these components, but right now I'm just drawing the model. So let me put these components inside a block, and I would refer to this block as the model for a voltage amplifier. Okay, and here I have drawn a diamond shaped voltage source, and it is having a magnitude equal to AV into II. AV into II. II is basically the input current, and we take the output, say here V2. All right, so so that's the model for a voltage amplifier. Now, how this can be a voltage amplifier, or how it can amount to a voltage amplifier, that is what we need to understand. Okay, so here this is the place where we give an input voltage, and this is the terminal at which we will measure the output voltage. Okay, so V1 is the input voltage, and V2 is the output voltage. Okay, so now in order for amplification, a voltage amplifier, we need to able to get an output voltage across some load. Okay, so that load we need to put in externally, so which is not part of this model, but whenever we want to take an output voltage, we will have to use a load resistance. Okay, so that is RL. RL is the load resistance, which is external to this model amplifier. Load resistance. Now there are other quantities which are part of the amplifier, which is RI and RO. So what is RI? RI is called the input resistance of the voltage amplifier, and then RO is the output resistance of the voltage amplifier. Okay, now there is another component which is AV into II. What is it? AV is called the voltage gain. Okay, so AV is called voltage gain. Okay, so I have drawn this incorrectly. It should be V1. Then only I can call it as voltage gain. Okay, so whatever is the V1, we have a scaled version of V1. There is a voltage source which is producing a scaled version of the input voltage, that is AV into that input voltage. So that is what AV is voltage gain, is defined as the voltage gain. I should also say, when output load resistance, that is RL, is equal to 0. So AV is the voltage gain when output load resistance is equal to, so I should say amplifier, voltage amplifier when output load resistance RL equal to 0. Okay, so now what is this voltage source? So that I need to explain a little bit. So there are basically two kinds of sources. Sources means something that can generate signal. Okay, sources of signal could be one of the two types. So, okay, signal source in general is one of the two types. The number one is voltage source, and number two is current source. Okay, now a voltage source will supply you some voltage. If it is a AC voltage source, it will supply you AC voltage. If it is a DC voltage source, it will supply you a DC voltage. And one of the property of an ideal voltage source, that means the voltage source, at its best, but ideal voltage source doesn't exist in practice, but every component, when we talk about, we always compare it with what is the ideal version of it. So if you talk about an ideal voltage source, it is modeled by just this is represented by a symbol like this. Okay, and so a practical voltage source will have always a series resistance, okay, so which is RS, and Vs is the voltage that it generates. It could be sine wave, or it could be a DC voltage, and it is always coming up with a series resistance to it. And an ideal voltage source is the one in which Rs is equal to 0. Okay, so Rs is equal to 0 for ideal voltage. Probably you might have studied this in your network theory. Okay. But as I told you, ideal source never exists. Always there will be a non-zero Rs, and the better voltage source are one which has very small value of Rs. Okay, so that we can neglect it. Okay, so maybe a few ohms or less than a ohm or something like that. And similarly, you can have a symbolic representation of current source. Now a current source, when you practically design, it will always come up with a parallel resistance, and it supplies a current, and then there is a parallel resistance Rs. Now when you talk about an ideal, or let me call it as RP, this is series and this is parallel. So an ideal current source will have RP equal to infinity. for ideal current. Now, what do we mean by this series resistance and this parallel resistance? Basically, practically what it does is that though it is generating a source voltage Vs, but practically what we get here is only V1. Okay, so for example, if you put a load, just like earlier I told you, amplifier output is always taken across a load which is connected externally. So if I put a load RL, how much voltage I will get? I will get only V1, and V1 is what? V1 is going to be a fraction of Vs, which is basically RL by Rs plus RL. It is never equal, which is always less than or not. I don't mean it is very less than Vs. It is always less than or equal to. The best is when it is equal to Vs. But otherwise it is always, this fraction is, you can see that it is always less than 1. Okay, for any non-zero value of Rs, it is going to be less than. So this Rs basically models that when the voltage source is supplying current, when the voltage source is supplying current, say IL, depending upon the value of current, the output voltage, that practically what you get out will be different from what you have generated. Okay, so it is also a function of current. Okay, because Vs by Rs plus RL is the current. So as the current varies, okay, as the current varies, or you can say that as the load resistance varies, the current will be varied, and when the current varies, the voltage what you get at the output will become smaller and smaller. Okay, so if I draw the characteristics of a voltage source, practically what we get, if I compare it with say IL, so this is practically what we get. So when RL is equal to say RL equal to infinity, so IL is going to be 0, right? So this side is where IL is equal to 0, which is RL equal to infinity, or IL equal to 0. So that is this point. So at that point, definitely you will get whatever is generated, that you will get, but then we are not able to use it for any purpose. So Vs you will get only when IL is equal to 0, where RL is equal to infinity. But as you reduce the value of RL from infinity to some value, then what you will notice is that the output voltage decreases. Okay, so there is a slope here. The output voltage becomes less as you reduce the value of RL. In the ultimate limit is when RL become 0, then what will happen? Output voltage will become 0. So this is the characteristics of a practical voltage source. Any voltage source, whatever voltage source you have in the lab also, you can look at it and you will see this kind of behavior. So as you draw more current from it, the output voltage that effectively coming across the load resistance will be dropping down, though maybe 5 volt is generated, but you may be getting only 4 volt, okay, at higher current values. Okay, and similar thing you can describe with respect to the current source also. Okay, so now what about the current source? The current source, ideally when you put a load resistance, so this is the load resistance that you put. I want a current which is same as what is generated here, but that you will never get. You will get always something lesser than that. Okay, so this is your IL. Another way you can say is that when you put a load resistance RL, you will basically generate an output voltage V out or VL. So that output voltage, if you take on say x-axis, and also look at what is the current IL that you are getting. Okay, so that means as you vary the RL value, the voltage will vary, and when the voltage varies, will there be a current variation? An ideal voltage source should supply the same current, which is true when this RP is equal to infinity. That means if RP is not here, there is no connection like this, then always it will produce the same current through the load resistance irrespective of its value. So that means you change you put any voltage across it, but still the current that flows through it will be the same, okay, which is the current source whatever it generates. But a practical voltage source will have a finite parallel resistance across the current generator, and then some of the current will pass through it also. So out of I, a portion of the current will go through RP, okay, and only the remaining will be available to us. Okay, so therefore IL will always be lesser than I because of this presence of RP. So so what you get, the current is going to reduce as you put more and more bigger resistance, the current will drop down. Okay, so this is how it would look like. The current reduces, the IL, the current through the load resistance reduces as the voltage across it increases. Another way you can say about this, the current here, this point is basically RL equal to 0, where V0 is equal to 0. But as you increase RL or V0 will also increase, but then the current that you will effectively get flowing through the RL will reduce. Okay, so in order to model this decrease in the current with the increase of the load voltage, we put this parallel resistance. This will happen only if the parallel resistance exists, but if the parallel resistance is not there, then it will remain steady. Okay, it will be like this, steady at
Sir,
yes. So this is your I.
sir, what is the real life example of means uses of current source?
Current source is used in real life. Suppose you want any application where you want a fixed current to flow through a device irrespective of the change in voltage. So any such application, in circuits we need a current source for biasing circuits, for biasing the circuit. We will see how current sources are utilized. We will come across circuits where we require current source. Okay, in this course itself we will come across it, but in general, if I say any application where we require constant current to be supplied irrespective of the voltage change. Okay, so any such application you can use current source, and voltage source you can use wherever you want to have a fixed voltage. Mostly we use voltage source, okay, like batteries are examples of voltage source. So where we need a fixed voltage potential difference between 2 points, irrespective of the current that is drawn out from the battery, we want to keep it at a constant voltage difference, maintain a constant voltage difference irrespective of the load that you put in. Okay, so that's what I have put here. So this is your Vs. So similarly, if you have an application, we have in electronics lots of such applications where we require constant current to pass through the circuit, a certain portion of the circuit, irrespective of the voltage that will come across those terminals. So in such cases we need to use current source. So that's a very generic answer, but specific examples I can come into as the course goes on, where we will literally make use of it. So at that time I will just simply use these symbols with like this. Okay, so right now we are talking about a model for voltage amplifier. And again, if I go back to the model, so this is what I have drawn. I did not use a circle here, instead I use a diamond. Okay, so there's a difference between circle symbol and the diamond symbol. Now circle symbol is used for independent voltage source. Okay, so whenever we have symbols like this, a circle with plus minus. Okay, so this, whenever we have, this is like independent voltage source. And similarly, if you have a circle with this, okay, this is independent current source. Now so that will just supply, if it's a DC independent voltage source, it's like a battery. You can also a DC version you can sometimes you will see replaced with this kind of symbol. If it is AC, you will see this kind of symbols. Okay, so these are independent voltage source. Okay, so similarly for current also, if it's an AC current source, you can put this tilde sine wave kind of symbol there to specify that it is a AC current source, independent current source. But now coming into dependent current source. Dependent current source. Dependent current source are of 4 types. Okay, there are 4 types. That means if it's a voltage source, we will use this plus minus like this, and we put a diamond shape. Okay, so it's a dependent voltage source. Now whether it depends on the voltage that you get between the terminal, if it depends upon a current, we would say current dependent current voltage source. Otherwise we will say so it's a dependent voltage source. Okay, now the what is the factor on which this voltage depends on? Okay, so depending upon that, you can have current dependent voltage source, voltage dependent voltage source. Okay, so so again there are 2 things here. This is a dependent voltage source, but the quantity upon which this voltage depends, it could be depending upon a different voltage somewhere in the circuit. So then we will have voltage controlled voltage source, VCVS. Okay, voltage controlled voltage source. Earlier I said it is a dependent voltage source. Now I am explicitly telling you what is the dependency. It is depending upon a voltage. Also we will call it as voltage controlled voltage source. And the other way it can be like, it could depend upon a current. So current controlled voltage source. So here this current and this voltage, which is determining the value of this output voltage of this dependent voltage source, could be part of some other part, could be the branch voltage or the branch current in some other part of the circuit. Okay, so it is current controlled voltage source. Okay, so voltage controlled voltage source, So it's a dependent voltage source. It could be voltage controlled voltage source or current controlled voltage source. Now the other two also, let me just mention it. Now the other one is, you can have a diamond current source like this. So this is what it is, a dependent current source. Dependent current source. Now again, these are of two types. This current produced by this dependent current source depends on some other voltage or some other current. So you can have a voltage controlled current source, voltage controlled current source, voltage controlled current source, or current controlled current source. Current source. So it's a dependent current source, but dependency could be on voltage or some other current. So now let me go back to our original voltage amplifier model that we started with today. So if you see here, this dependent voltage source, this is a dependent voltage source because I put a diamond, because that's for dependence. A dependent source, and then plus minus means that it's a dependent voltage source. Now what does it depend upon? This voltage depends upon the voltage across this Ri. So Ri is a resistance somewhere else, okay? It's not part of this output circuit, it is part of the input circuit. Okay, so this side we can say that the input side, and the other side we say the output side. So the dependent source, voltage source on the output side, the magnitude of that voltage depend on what? It depend on the voltage that is applied across the input resistance Ri. So Ri, I told you, it's in input resistance of the voltage amplifier. So whatever voltage that you give at Ri, okay, across Ri, that voltage will determine the magnitude of the voltage produced by the dependent source. So we have a dependent voltage source, or if we have a dependent voltage source which can produce a voltage that depends upon the voltage that is applied across the input resistance, then we can have a voltage amplifier. So that's basically the idea. Now when do we say that the voltage is amplified, so that it would function as an amplifier? Definitely we should get a V2, the output voltage, greater than V1. Okay, so if the ratio of V2 by V1 is greater than 1, only then, just because we have this model here it can function as an amplifier only under certain condition. So we need to find out that condition. Okay, so there are certain conditions also that it should satisfy. It is not just that this model, for any value of this Ri, Ro, AV, it will function as a voltage amplifier. Under certain condition it will function as a voltage amplifier, and that is what we are going to look at now. Okay, so let me redraw this again. So again, so we have a Ri, and then we have a voltage source whose voltage produced depends upon the voltage, say Vi. So this is Vi, and then any voltage source has some series resistance. Since it is output side, I will put Ro, and then I will put a load resistance L. And similarly I would connect some source here, say an AC source, plus minus, this will have some series resistance RS, because any practical source from which we give voltage to the input of the amplifier will have a series resistance. Okay. Practically there cannot be any ideal voltage source. So we are supplying a input voltage, say the value of the input is V in. Okay, here it is Vi, here it is V in, and let's say here we look at the output, which is V out. Okay, or yeah, let's call it as V out. Okay, so we are taking this model, applying some input and putting a load resistance to take out the output. Now we are going to derive the condition under which this will function as an amplifier, and it is a model which can function as an amplifier. We will demonstrate that. Okay, so if the condition is that if V out that we obtained by V in is greater than 1, then we say we have amplified the signal. This is the requirement, right? If output voltage that we get across this load resistance divided by the generated voltage at the source, if this ratio is greater than 1, then only we can say that we have amplified, or it is a voltage amplifier, and we are able to amplify the voltage. Then only we can say that. Otherwise it's of no use. It is not an amplifier, because you can directly connect this source to the load resistance without this block here, and then also you will get a output voltage which is lesser than what is V in produces, right? So it's not interesting if the output voltage is less than the input voltage. Okay, so it will be interesting only if the output voltage is greater than the input voltage. So we need to find the condition under which this will be the case. Okay, so let's evaluate the output voltage. So we need to write the KVL here on the output side. Okay, so KVL at output. So tell me what is output voltage. So there will be a drop here, plus minus. So there is a voltage source, plus minus. So if I say minus to plus as positive, so then AV into VI, plus to minus I will take it as negative, R out into, so I have to assume some current, say I out, then the same current is going to flow through RL. Okay, so this is basically plus minus, so I can put a minus sign here, and I can just say that it is V out equal to 0. But I need to remove this I naught here, and I naught is what? I naught has a relation with V naught, where I naught is what? I naught is basically V out, the current which is flowing through RL, divided by RL. Okay, so the current that is going through the load resistance RL is basically voltage across it divided by the resistance value. So that is, so which I can now use. So therefore that is AVI is equal to V out plus R naught into V out by RL, which is basically 1 plus R naught by RL into V out. Okay, so this is what we get, and therefore V out is basically AV into VI. If I take the LCM and multiply, I would write it as RL divided by R naught plus RL. So that is my expression for output voltage. Everybody get this? We write the KVL. You can write KCL also. That may be better, I feel. Okay, so the current coming is same as current going through this way. So that may be even you will get into this equation in a faster way. Okay, AVI minus V out by R naught is equal to V out by RL. You write like that, just one equation, and then rearrange it, you will get the same thing. Okay, so this is KVL at the output, and we got output voltage expression. Now we need to also establish a relationship with VI, because here it is VI, we want to bring V in there. So what is the relationship between VI and V in? So we can write okay, let's write KCL this time at the input side. KCL at input. Okay, so the current coming is basically V in minus VI by RS. V in minus VI by RS, that is the current coming, and that is the current which is flowing through the whatever current which is coming, that will basically flow out. Okay, current coming to this node is same as current leaving. That is basically KCL. So that is VI by RI. VI by RI. So if you now simplify this, that is V in by RS is equal to VI into 1 by RI plus 1 by RS. Or in other words, VI into RI plus RS divided by RI RS. So you can now cancel RS from both sides, and you can write it as, therefore VI is basically V in into RI divided by RI plus RI. Okay, so this is equation 1 from in output side, and this is equation 2. Alright, so we got two equations. Now substituting equation 2 in equation 1, we will get the required. So therefore equation 1 will become V out is equal to AV into VI, which is basically so I will write V out by V in. Okay, AV into then RI by RI plus RS into so I substitute for VI. Now there is RL by R0 plus RL. So this is the final expression I obtained. Okay, so what I did, I took the model for voltage amplifier which I claimed to be a voltage amplifier, and then I connected a practical source at the input, and also connected a load resistance at the output, and then calculated whatever is the output voltage that I obtained, and took a ratio with respect to the input source voltage V in, and that ratio I got it as this much. Now if you look at the value of this is less than 1, this is also less than 1. Okay, so our only hope is in now AV. So AV should compensate for the reduction of these two fractions. Okay, so so that is one way. You can have a very large AV, say 100, and then I can have this half and half. So then, so half into half is basically 1 by 4. So 100 by 4 is 25. So I will get the amplification of 25. So this is the expression for the voltage amplification that practically I will be able to get out of this amplifier. Now what should be the value? I have some questions now. What should be the value of Ri and R0 for a good voltage amplifier? So this is able to amplify under certain condition. I told you AV should be greater, and this should be as much as possible. We have to make it closer to 1. Okay, if this can be made closer to 1, this will anyhow will be less than 1, but can we make it closer and closer to 1 by designing the model for the voltage amplifier in a better way? So that is one concern. And can we have AV value as large as possible? Okay, so can we have an AV value which is a factor that defines the operation of the dependent voltage source? Can I have that large enough in order to compensate for the reduction here? Or also can I make these ratios, these two ratios, Ri by Ri plus Rs? This is the ratio corresponding to the input side, and then there is a ratio corresponding to the output side. Can I make these two ratios, closer to 1? The answer is that it is possible to make these two ratios closer to 1, and what we need to have is the Ri should be as large as possible, and Ro should be. So now if I put Ri very large going to infinity and R0 tending to 0. So if you design this model amplifier, model voltage amplifier in such a way that my Ri is very large. Very large means, what do I mean by the very large? Ri tending to infinity means practically speaking Ri should be much greater than Rs. Rs is something that is unavoidable. Any voltage source which we use to supply the input will have some Rs that we cannot get rid of, but we can always design our amplifier in such a way that its input resistance is going to be much larger than, how much larger? At least say 10 times larger than Rs, or 100 times larger, means it is even better. Okay, so at least 10 times larger, and similarly R0 we have to make it as small as possible compared to the load resistance. So if I put a load resistance of 1 kilo ohm, it should be say 10 ohm, so then it is 100 times smaller. If that is the case, then you can see that if it is 100 times smaller, then approximately this will become AV. Okay, because Ri, if it is let's say 100 times smaller, 100 times larger means say 100 divided by 101. Okay, 100 divided by 101, so which is quite close to 1. Okay, if it is 10 times larger, Ri is 10 times larger than Rs, means it will be 10 divided by 11, which is also quite close to 1. Okay, so you can make the values of input resistance and output resistance such a way that these two bracket expressions will not do much reduction. Okay, so a small reduction as possible, so that the ratio of output voltage to input voltage now become. So under this condition we can say that um, the voltage amplification factor will be AV. And what is AV? AV is the factor by which our voltage source will produce the voltage depending upon the voltage at across Ri. So now our quest is, can we find a device which can do this? Okay, so now we proved just now that if you have a model like this, then we are able to amplify, provided AV is good enough. Say AV is at least 10 and R0 output resistance is 10 times greater than RL, and output resistance 10 times smaller than RL and input resistance 10 times larger than RS. Under that condition it will amplify. Okay, now can we find a device which has this kind of characteristics, which can be modeled like this? Okay, so if we can find a device, then we can achieve it. The answer is that we can find a device which would achieve this kind of characteristics, where AV is large and Ri is large, R0 is small. We can find a device, and that is how we are able to so, and the answer is transistor. Transistor is the device which would give this type of characteristics similar to that of this block here. So we are just now, we did not today did not discuss anything about transistor, but we are only looking at a model for voltage amplifier. In the next class we will look at other models. Okay, so if you look at the syllabus, there are various model amplifiers. One is voltage amplifier that we just covered, and the other is current amplifier, transconductance amplifier, and trans resistance amplifier. So we will come into it in the next class. Okay.